Hi all, welcome back to my channel that is Business Data Analytics. In today's video, we'll understand how to create a dataset. What are the rules we have for creating a dataset? What is library in SAS and different types of libraries we have. So let's get started. So to create a dataset, what requirement we need to have means what all prerequisites we need to have before we think of creating a table. The first one is raw data and name of the data set or table, and third one is variable or field name. So raw data is something. Now let's say I'm creating a table that is employee, and inside that employee table, these are the rows I wanted to insert. So this is called for me as a raw data. And the table name for is employee, and the variable name or we call as field name. So this table contains three fields. One is employee number, the second one is employee name, then followed by salary. Let's also see what are the rules we have for creating a dataset. The first one is dataset names can be up to 32 characters long. And the next one is dataset names must begin with a letter or an underscore. The third one is the subsequent characters could be letters, numbers, or underscores. So when we say that the dataset name has to be up to 32 characters long. Now let's say I'm creating a table that is employee, and if you see the table name has only got 3 characters into this. So with this we can create a table. Now I'm just running this code and showing whether this is accepting or no. Now if you could see, my table got created with the name employee. Now let me show, in case I am creating a table where the table name has got more than 32 characters long, whether it is accepting or no. So let me just randomly create a table name as, now this has got 3 characters into this. I am just randomly adding, the characters up to 32. Now let me create this table where the table name has got more than 32 characters. Now let's see what's happening. Now if you see, this is throwing an error telling that the dataset name cannot have more than 32 bytes. Okay, now let me reduce the number of characters which is below 32, and let's see whether this is accepting or no. I reduced here, and let me now run this code and let's see what's happening. Now if you could see, it accepted this and created a table for me. Right? Okay. The second one is dataset names must begin with a letter or an underscore. So now here we are beginning the table name as EMP, so which is a letter. And the third one is subsequent characters can be letters, numbers, or underscores. So we have to begin this one with a letter, then the subsequent characters could be letter, number, or underscores. Even for creating a variable, we have few rules like variable names can be up to 32 characters long. Variable names must begin with a letter or an underscore. Subsequent characters can be letters, numbers, or an underscore. Variable names are case sensitive by default in SAS. Now with this, let's see how does a data step block syntax looks like. So it starts with the data, then the dataset name, followed by there are a lot of statements inside, then it would end with run statement. This is data, this is my dataset name. I'm just making it short, this table name. emp, then followed by we have lot of statements inside, then it ends with run statement. Infile statement. This statement helps to access the data from internal or external location to SAS internal memory. Now in this case, we are creating a table inside the SAS environment. Hence you are seeing this cards option. And in case if we are creating a table which is available at external location, we have to provide here the location details. I'll show that in my upcoming videos. Input statement. This statement helps to create variables in a SAS dataset. And data lines statement. We also can write here cards. This indicates that the data is internal, means we are creating a table inside the SAS environment. Now with this, let's see what is SAS library. In SAS, library is a storage place of dataset, catalogs and views. What are catalogs and views? We'll talk in details in further videos. So, library is classified into SAS user, SAS help, and work, wherein SAS user and SAS help are the permanent libraries, and work is something that is temporary library. SAS help is a read-only library that contains a variety of predefined dataset which by default comes in SAS. We can use them for our practice. Now let's see how this library looks like and where it comes. If you come to this library section and click on my libraries, and if you could see we have SAS help. If you click on SAS help library here, if you could see there are many tables available in this SAS help. Like we have airline, we have APP, LIANC, all these tables. We have the table name by, we have cars, city day, etc. Both SAS help and work are system defined libraries. Okay. So with this, let's little understand deeper of this library concept. Okay. What I'm doing now is I'm just creating this table EMP. Okay. Let me run this syntax. So after I ran this syntax, the table EMP got created. So in SAS, what happens is when we run any syntax to create a table, by default it goes to work library, which we also call as temporary library in SAS. So let me go to this libraries, then work library. Then if you could see my employee table has been created here. Let me just click and show you. So this is how it looks like. I have employee number, I have employee name, then followed by salary. As I mentioned, work library is the temporary library. What would happen is once I'm done with my work and I'm closing this session, I mean this SAS session, I cannot get this employee table back. Okay. Let's say today I created this table employee. Okay. And tomorrow, what I want to do on this table is I want to do some modification on this table, right? So, as I mentioned, if my table is getting created in the work library and once I close this SAS session, I cannot get back this table. Okay. So, in this case, what I have to do is I have to store this table somewhere, right? So in this kind of scenario, there is a concept comes we call as user defined library. So let me now show you how we can create user defined libraries which can help us to store our table. Okay, so let me now show you how this libname helps. So we have to write libname, then the libname name. Let me just write my name and India. Then we have to provide the location where we want to store our table. So what I'll do is I want to store my table to this server. So let me just take this location of this server. I'll go to property and take this location. So what I'm telling to SAS is you go and store my table to this location. And once this table is stored in this location, if tomorrow I want to do any modification, I can call that table and do the modification. Okay. So let me just run this libname and see what's happening. It is telling that livref Anindya was successfully assigned as follows. It means that this folder has been created in the server. Now let's go to the library section and see whether this Anindya is created or no. Libraries and my libraries. If you see here, I created a libname which is called as Anindya. And inside this, I can store my tables. There is already a table df which is existing, which I had created earlier. So now let me show how we can store our employee file which was created here and which is also residing in our work library. But work library is something, as I mentioned, once we are closing the session, that is going off. So let me now show you how we can store our employee table to our Anindya folder so that it is stored for us permanently. To do this, what we have to do is we need to write this piece of syntax. Data, then provide the library name, that is Anindya, then dot, then the table name. Then we have to write set statement, employee table, run. I am telling that the employee table which is available in my work library, I wanted to store it in Anindya library and which is permanent for me. Let me run this and show. Now let's go ahead and see whether this table got created in Anindya libname or no. If you could see here, my employee table has been created here. Now this is a permanent table for me. Just to note in SAS, if we are not mentioning any library name, by default it means that that is available in work library. So if you could see in this example, I did not mention that my current employee table is in work library. It means that this employee table is available in work. I also can write here work. This also works for me. And the user defined libraries are also a kind of permanent library. With this, let me show you, once I'm done today with my work and I'm closing this session, tomorrow when I want to work on this same employee table, how can I access this employee table? So let me close this session. So now I am with a new session of SAS. So now we can see how we can access the table which we created earlier, that is employee table. And we can see how we can bring that table to our SAS environment so that we can do our further modification. So we have to again call the libname statement. Let me also show you guys where is that employee table is residing now. If you go to the server files and folders, just click this. If you could see, we have this employee table available here. So now our task is we would get this employee table to the SAS environment and we would do our further activities. So let's see how we can get this employee table to the SAS environment. So for this also, again, we have to use the libname statement. Let me write a libname statement. Libname, libname name, that is, let me provide just name as check. Then provide the location where this table is stored. Just right click on this, go to properties and take this location. Now in this case, I am telling to SAS, my table is stored in this location. Get me to the SAS environment. Let me run this code. Now let's go to this check library. This is the check library and inside that my table is stored. Now let me show how we can use this employee table. So let me write a simple code. Data, I'm creating a new table as employee 1 from the table employee which is available in this library, that is check. So I would write check.emp, then run. If I run this, I created a table employee 1 by using the table which was available in the check library, and this employee table, as I mentioned, by default goes to the work library. So now I can keep working on my emp1 table, and in case again I want to store back, I can do the same process. So to make it simple, let me show you how this libname is working. We use this libname to push the data where we want to save, and if we want to again get it back to the SAS environment, we also can use this libname statement. So it helps like a push and pull statement in SAS to handle all of these tables.